ONPASSIVE Milo show is here today. You don't want to miss a single word he says. Bringing you founders from near and far. Listen as they tell you now just who they are. Listen to the stories and how they tell in just 3 minutes how they're doing well. Telling us what it's all about today. And how they're learning that ONPASSIVE way. ONPASSIVE. It's here to stay on passive. There's just no better way. Listen to the ONPASSIVE Milo show, so then you can be the very first to know. ONPASSIVE, it's here to stay. ONPASSIVE Milo show is coming your way Saturday. ONPASSIVE, yeah. Here's Milo. Hey, how you guys doing, man? It's so good to be back. I missed it last weekend, but I gotta tell you, I listened to the replay and everybody knocked it out of the park. Miss Jeannie Oliva was the host. She did a wonderful job. You know, Mario was great. John Barilla and Lynn, man, they just all did a wonderful job. And Marty, of course, bringing the live on and stuff. So I want to say thank you very much for everyone. I enjoyed the show from afar. I wasn't able to jump on right at the time that the show was going on. I was actually playing a 9-foot grand piano, a Baldwin grand piano, at a wedding reception or reception type thing right before the meal and stuff. So I was having a blast. I was with family. So thank you guys. So let's say, Jeannie, if you are here, man, thank you so much. Come on, if you don't mind, come on and say a couple words to us.
Milo, it was my pleasure to host last week. It's hard to believe it was just last week because so much has happened since then. Am I right? Oh my goodness. I can't even think about anything. My brain is just, I'm so excited. But yeah, last week with Mario Sousa did a fabulous job, and Mario is getting even more active in the webinars and chats, and it's so wonderful because he has so much to offer everyone. And so yeah, it was so much fun last week. I'm so glad you had a great time. I would love to see some video clips of your music if you ever get a chance to share that. But yeah, everybody get excited. I'm excited for Leon's presentation today and the discussion that follows. And yeah, I'm so glad we worked out the tech issues. It takes teamwork, doesn't it, Milo?
It does, man. So I just want to say, man, thank you so much for coming on, and you did a wonderful job, and you just step right up and always do that, man. You know, it was beautiful. It was a great show last week. All right, I don't think Mario's on, is he? Is Mario here?
I didn't see him earlier, but yeah, maybe he'll join later. But
yeah, he did a wonderful job. All right, Miss Lynn Nakamoto, what do you have to say? Lynn, you're always there for me and helping me out and keeping me running straight.
Yeah, we got to keep you straight, man. Nah, just kidding.
That's right. I don't know. Everyone's tried their whole life and they just say there's no hope. That's what my family says anyway.
Well, I'm just glad that you had a good time and that you're able to take time away from the webinar because you have a good support system with us. So anytime you need to go, just let us know. We'll be there for you.
All right. I appreciate that. How about you, Mr. John Barilla? Come on down. He takes care of the chat all the time for us. Come on down, brother.
Oh yeah, it was great last week. You know, and I'm sure it's going to be great today. Just had a little trouble getting started, but all is well, and we will all be fine.
That's right. And Marcy and Himaboo, come on, say you help us out sometimes before Lynn gets there. Come on out down and just say a few words to us.
Thank you, Milo. You know, with Lynn, you will never fail. If you have Lynn around, Joyce, Jean, Bruce, John, let's be assured that everything is done. With Lynn, it's done, do it or die. So thank you for having me.
That's a fact. And, you know, all of us play a part in this. There's nothing about Milo, he's just the guy there at the front or whatever. But it's all about you guys, man. It is you. You know, I just appreciate all of you coming on, helping out when you can, and we're just telling people about it. You know, and that's the big thing. And as Jeannie alluded to, it seems like forever ago, a week. You know what has happened in this last week. I know there's going to be a lot of people excited and wanting to share things today, but we also have a special guest in the house today, and we're going to get him on the floor right now. He was going to come a few weeks ago and things come up, but we're glad to have him right now. He's going to be talking to you about small communities, small houses, and I love this. You know, I love what he says and does. So with no further ado, let me bring to the stage Mr. Leon Holiday. Come on down, take about 20 minutes and talk to us, brother.
Yes, Milo, how you doing? Thank you for inviting me, and thank you, Lynn and Mr. John Borello, which are doing all the technical back in the background. So I appreciate everybody and everybody that have anything to say. And today I'm using a different device. I had my iPad, the battery don't stay charged, and I usually on my iPad, but then my son has my iPad now. So I was on a MacBook trying to maneuver MacBook, you know, it's kind of different because everything's set up a little different. But anyway, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about me first, my background. My background is that I went to a school in Kentucky called Berea. It's in the center of Appalachia, but that's a small school. I'm the first one in my family to go to college and do all that stuff, graduated high school, go to college. And then my first job, I was an engineer for oil industry, like Chevron Oil. You know, they wanted the big companies, and I was mechanical engineering for them, designing vapor recovery systems and doing all the oil field stuff that, you know, people do in mechanical engineering, designing wharf systems and all that kind of stuff. So I changed my profession, which is similar to water and wastewater technologies. So I spent the rest of my career running water treatment, drinking water, wastewater, water distribution, collection systems. And matter of fact, I was in charge of the entire infrastructure for various cities. I was a public works director for one city. In another city, I ran a in-vessel process of different types of technology used to clean water. And so I thought while I was working, part of my job description was keep abreast of new technology and ideas. So I used to go to seminars, go to webinars, seminars all over the country to keep abreast of new technology, because if you don't, something goes wrong in your plant, the health department or the region quality control board wants you to implement that new technology, and you got to know about it ahead of time so you can budget it and plan for it. And so I ran $128 million budget for several on just one of my facilities. And so each year we have to spend that much money upgrading and keeping those plants running. So when I got close to the retirement, I kept thinking, what am I going to do? I have so much knowledge in my head, have all these licenses, you work all these life, like a doctor, you're a doctor for life, you become a doctor, you become a doctor for life. And I was thinking, what I'm just go home and sit down, I know how to build, I know how to design, I know how to do all kinds of stuff. So I can help people. Maybe I join the Peace Corps. I was thinking of all kinds of crazy stuff. I can go help people. I can go help people with their water. I can go help do this and that. And so, of course, I'm thinking of all these different things that I could do with the knowledge in my brain. So I retired, and then I kept all my licenses active. So I think I have 3 licenses active. I had 12 at one time. So I just kept 3 of them active, because you got to keep paying for the renewals and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you got to do educational points where they make you go and take classes. So I just said, I'm going to take the most important ones and I'm going to keep them. And I kept the water treatment and the water distribution and the wastewater treatment. So those are the ones I kept the most active. And so I started deciding what I wanted to do. And so I'm sitting at home. I did a lot of traveling, and then I traveled. I think one of the places I traveled to was the Philippines, and I saw a lot of, things that people needed there. And then I started, I have a lot of friends that's in the Filipino community, and I start getting involved with the Filipino community. Then I found out some of my friends, they were already, getting boxes together, shipping supplies, the unpassive way, the old blessed way. They was already blessing people constantly, yearly, daily. They were sending boxes and things to the Philippines. I have one of my founders is Kathy Wilcott and Nelia Stearns and Emic Kadine and various other people. They all doing things, they all sending packages, they constantly. So when I told them what ONPASSIVE was about, that was kind of like the step in the right direction. I talked about blessed, so they joined. Then I told them the idea I had was trying to do a sustainable village, trying to do something that where people can help themselves and go in and feel like they're part of a community. And since I had worked for cities and municipalities and special government district, I knew all the ins and outs of licensings and how to make things move in that direction. So I was telling them, there's a lot of things you can do with buying, there's a lot of, you see it on the internet, a lot of people doing container houses, using containers. People using, now you got this company out called Boxable for 50,000. They can drop your house in your backyard or wherever, and it's already completed. All you do is hook the water and the sewer up to it, and it folds out, and you can move it if you need to move it. You have all kinds of builders out there. And I was thinking, matter of fact, the United States government just completed an order of so many hundreds of thousands of these Boxable houses. And I can see around the world, many governments doing these small houses, not just from them. I think Tesla has the Tesla home. They have the small tiny home. Then, things that doesn't cost a lot of money. Matter of fact, one of the largest home builder in the world is already partnering with Boxable, and that's D.R. Horton. And they've already partnering and putting money with Boxable, and Boxable just finished their second factory, and then I thought, that would be a great idea to start a sustainable village. First, before you can do all of that, you have to make sure people are fed. You feed people first, and then you got to make sure they're clothed, and then you got to make sure their hygienes and all that stuff is up. And then from there, you just got to give them shelter, any kind of shelter that you can give for people, and make sure they constantly getting fed, so you can actually start to talk with people and find out what they want and what their needs are. I remember one time we had a show on a webinar, and I think everybody on this webinar faces I see had various things to say, and a lot of it came back around assessing the people need and what they need and what they want. You can't just go and say, I'm gonna do this for you. Maybe they don't want that. You got to find out what they want. And that's the reason why the team of people that I have with ONPASSIVE, all the founders, most of all of them are actually doing something every day. That's kind of the ONPASSIVE, the bless is similar to that. You don't have to wait on an organization to have you to do something kind and nice. It's out of your heart. Just do it now. You can just walk out the door right now. You can find clothing in your house right now. You can find old dishes, pots and pans you never use, or anything, a bottle of water. You can take when you at the Costco or whatever the store picking up water, you just pick up an extra thing of water. You can go right now and start the act of kindness to start helping people right now. You don't have to wait for somebody to flip your switch or push you in that direction. You can start, daily. And that's kind of how things I think that's how ONPASSIVE, with all the like-minded people, we just like-minded people being spearheaded in the right direction. And we already have the heart, we already have the thought process and what we want to do. Some of us need to be organized, and some of us just need to just keep doing what we're doing. And as you heard Mr. Ashman Farr mention, the ONPASSIVE is already taken care of. It's already funded. It's already taken care of. So my thing is, again, I had the group of people we was talking about everybody in my in the Southern California region group. We all kind of got together a little bit and we was talking about it. You know, there's empty shopping centers and things like that we talked about before. Those empty shopping centers, like in my city, I have a Kmart. It was probably only 10, 15 years old. All the infrastructure's there, all the water, sewer, everything. And inside the building is clean. Matter of fact, they use it to give COVID shots. It's a clean building. You can go in there and petition that building off and put women and children in there that are homeless and build a soup kitchen and start from there and then go to your village, because everybody don't work in harmony with each other and everybody don't work in that sustainable village. The people who wants to be in that sustainable village has to want to be there and wants to be part of that group. So you first you give people there and you kind of like interview people and assess their background, their needs, you assess their you know, the mentality, their education level, where they want to be, and if they want to be part of that system, and then you go out and then you start that. First, I was thinking in terms of just starting it right away, but then the group helped convince, you know, after you put more heads together, everybody start talking, you come up with better solutions and ideas. You can't just jump from A to and go to Z. There's many steps in between you have to go. And that's what we decided to do, just make sure that we did that first, and then try to meet with other groups. If you can look on the news, you see lots of different groups who wants to do the right thing, but nobody is coordinating. Nobody's doing it together. Everybody's going their direction. And so with ONPASSIVE, we setting up a form, we setting up a structure, a infrastructure to do that. And that's what we need. Just like Mr. Ashman Farr is building the infrastructure for the ONPASSIVE and making sure it's successful. And same way with OBLESS, you got to build the infrastructure so that way, because you got so many moving parts, so people can work together in harmony, so you can assess people knowledge and talent and put them with the right people and the right groups. And I think Chris Johnson is, you know, doing the OBLESS show, things like that. That's the step in the right direction and getting people moving in the right direction. But, you know, it doesn't take much, because a lot of these tiny homes and things, they already meets the specs of the cities, and the cities have relaxed all their laws. They relaxed the laws because Los Angeles, San Jose, Sacramento, this is in California, San Francisco, and on up the coast, in any city that is warm, you're going to find tons and millions of homeless people. So they relaxed the law so people can now start putting these little village and homes in their backyards so they can help accommodate. And part of it is people don't have enough affordable housing, and they don't have enough housing. So the city don't like urban sprawling, so they won't let you do this. But now they relax the laws so you can do this. And so just knowing those laws, because every time you do something like OBLESS and you helping people, you also helping the city, and you helping everyday people. You helping the state, you helping the county, you helping the federal government. And that's where I believe once things are moving, you can tap into all those sources, because all you have to do is say, look, this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it. And I just also want to mention that when I first got into ONPASSIVE, I got in it to help people with the water, you know, treating water and drinking water. And then I realized that I had so many other talent that I could use, and I end up doing the opposite of what I came in for, but I still have those talents to treat water, you know, treat drinking water, wastewater, or making sure that people can you know, have safe drinking water. And then if you really think about it, if you just listen on the news, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, then that was Flint, Michigan, they're not the only ones. There's a lot of these infrastructures that's 100 years old that people are drinking contaminated water, and they'll find out later that's what they're doing. Just here in the United States, Imagine in other countries that never even had the infrastructure in place in the first place. So that's a big need to help people with water all over, everywhere that you can do. And like I said, a lot of these infrastructures over 100 years old, and they're leaking. Some of them got lead pipes. Some of them has infiltration coming in through the system. They got cross connections. They got backflow problem. And that means that nasty water is hooked up with clean water. Pollutant water that has pollution in it, hooked up with drinking water. And people don't find these things out till later. Look at on the news by Camp Lejeune, people find that out years and years later. They were drinking contaminated water. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. All these systems are going to start to fail now because they're over 100 years old, and nobody took the time to put the money in the infrastructure to rebuild these systems. And so back to we're just in the right place at the right time, because you hear the president talk about build back better and start to build back. And this is the perfect time for ONPASSIVE to come online. I mean, the ideal and the perfect time, because we have that supply chain, that build back better to help the supply chain, help everything move in motion, keep everything moving in the right direction. And we have many clogs in the wheel, with many spokes in the wheel that can keep the wheel moving in ONPASSIVE. And Bless is one of them, and all the other products that Mr. Ash Mufari provided for us and the tech team. And everybody that comes on, I really enjoy. I don't get a chance to say it much because most time I'm sitting back and listening. Everybody has something to say that is very good. I mean, everybody has that contributing factor, and that's what makes us so unique, because it's not anymore. We want to help and we want to do the right thing, and we are going to do the right thing, and we are helping people. So again, getting back to that sustainable village is the way to go, because what that does, it takes the stigmatism away from homeless shelter. I don't want a homeless shelter in my neighborhood. I don't want my property value to go down. I don't want this. But if you have a sustainable village where it's open to everybody, and you come in and you see what people are doing with their hands, you see how people are cleaning their water, having gardening, sewing, painting, people that can have all kinds of skills. You got a welding shop, you got a woodworking shop, a cabinet shop. People can do all kinds of things. Those people are walking the street needing that second chance. And some of the people who wants to be there will be there, and they will help, and they could help others, and they will educate others. And we have all the right tools. We got Academy, where we can set and train various people. We got Bless, where we can get people the tools that they need to succeed. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw a lot of those things out there. And if anybody have any other things they could say, I'm right here.
All right. Thank you, Leon, so much. That was a great presentation. And, you know, it is so true that with ONPASSIVE, when your mind starts to think about what we can do, it goes different places than where maybe we originally started, because it offers us so much more, you know. And I love the part where you said, you know, you kind of turned and went someplace else. And I think that my thing is, I think that every person is going to have 2 or 3 projects that they are passionate about.
Yes.
Now, I'm passionate about what you've got, but not like you. In other words, why do I have to go out and do that when I could just support you, or I could support people coming in, right?
Right.
I buy a spot, I bring people in. Hey, Leon, who do you got that needs a spot? Well, I got this guy, or I got that guy. Boom, I give them a spot. Think about things like that, how we will be able to change the world. It's not about that, you know, there's going to be so many things that we will be able to do. In fact, I've been thinking that I want to change the format kind of our Saturday meeting. I want talks just like this, where that someone comes on with their passion, their product, what they want to do, you know, because we're all different. I mean, you all know that if mine is churches, entertainment, and cancer patients. That's the three that I will be working on. You know, that's passionate for me, right? Now,
Exactly.
that's not for everyone else. Yours is, you know, this, you know, and you might even go have one that's water also, that you're helping people with water. Well, you can't maybe do it all by yourself, but just think if the people with the resources like you are funded by someone, you know, buying spots, buying people in, you know, helping people, we can change the world. We can change the world very quickly, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, I like what Ash said. Ash says, I might not be able to change the world, but I can change somebody's world. And he
Yes.
changed my world. And I know just probably everyone on here, he changed your world. So when he changes one person's world and they get that same attitude, hey, I can change one, 1 + 1 + 1, and it just goes, it grows very quickly. So appreciate all you brought to us, man. That was wonderful. That was a wonderful presentation. And now we're going to take hands. If anyone would like to say something to Mr. Leon or talk to him, the floor is open. So I'm looking for hands to be raised. Do we have any? Bang, 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 bang. I don't see anyone. Man, you must have did a good job explaining it, but I'm sure someone out there's got some questions. Oh, there's one. Let's see. Joyce Hicks, come on down all the way from Detroit, Michigan. No, Jackson, Michigan.
Jackson.
Come on down. I'm going to Jackson.
Yes, Jackson, Michigan. Woo woo. Thank you, Milo, and for letting me speak. And thank you, Leon, for that great presentation. I love everything that you said, you know, just the small housing and building a community. That is just awesome. And when you talked about all those things, it's like, it's so much needed with the blessed and with everything that's going on in the world. I totally agree that it's going to just change lives of so many people. And with you doing this and having this program in mind, is just having all those things in place. It's like, and as when we met with Ash the first time, we talked about that, just a one-stop shop. Everything is in that same place and that you can find everything that you need. You don't have to go to different organizations or different places to find what you need. And we're not giving a person a fish, but we're teaching them to fish. And so they'll be able to sustain their life, you know, for the lifetime. But this is great. It just goes along with everything that's been said and everything that Ash has put out there. So I just can't wait until all these things get moving and functioning. And it's going to be a great day, a great thing to help so many people. But thank you again for an awesome presentation and for what you're doing, and continue to bless people. And we will do great things. Thanks again, Leon. Thank you, Milo.
Thank you. And another thing is too, you know, when I walk around every day, I'm getting so excited. I mean, it is crazy. I know everybody on here who's an engineer. I know their wheels are spinning so fast. Not only just engineers, but everybody that's on here that listen to what all the presentations are. Every day I walk out my door, I see how ONPASSIVE can impact something. And it's crazy now because I can't turn it off. It's just crazy. You see it over and over, and how, and remember, Mr. Ash says, way people are going to get into, and he may change it into ONPASSIVE through a founder. We in such a good position. Only way you're going to get in through a founder. And that is amazing too, just to hear that and see so many opportunities out there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leon. And you know, you talk about when you listen, you know, and you get different ideas and stuff. And I love that. I love to talk. Me and Marty will sometimes sit down and throw things off each other. And it's like, do you realize if we did this and we did that, man, we could get this. And, you know, that's what I'm saying with like your project. You have a project. You know, there might be a lot of people that want to support that project, but they don't have the time and the know-how to put into it. But can they financially support it? Absolutely. You know, they just buy a spot. They can buy spots for other people. You know, it's an amazing thing. And I know, you know, you talked about Kmart's and stuff like that, but before you had talked about 3D printing. How cool is that? That you can
Yes.
set up. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. You
Yeah.
can set up a whole community. You take a 3D printer out there and you do it. And I just heard a week ago or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. They had a big hemp convention here in Nashville.
Yes.
And they talked about they want to change the world. Okay. And their thing is they've got a product they are working on with 3D printing that will not be susceptible to moisture, won't have any mold. It will keep the house at 67 degrees winter and summer. I mean, can you imagine setting up a little community or whatever of all these little houses, and these people don't have to worry about, and like you said, some of them need just a second chance,
Yeah, this, and like you say, that 3D printing with the hemp, a lot of people don't understand. Hemp is in over 100 and maybe 289,000 products in the world. Once they legalize in the United States and allow people to start to grow in hemp, I think they've already passed all the laws, I think last February. Hemp product can go into so many different things: carbon, fabrics, wood, paper, everything, iron, metal, hemp can be strong. It's one of the strongest material out there, and that you can add to things. And once you, like you say, and it's mold and mildew resistant. And once you start putting all this product together and start with these printers, they even have them now. You can put hemp in cement, and you can just make all kinds of building 3D print, just like you say, just tons and tons of little houses and villages. And we have the know-how, we have the technology, and all it takes now, as like we are together today, is just an infrastructure or somebody to implement and somebody to start. And just speaking one other thing, your brother knows all about water and wastewater and everything. He and I together could build any kind of treatment system, or could actually start up any kind of system, because we've done it all our lives. So we know. So he has a lot of knowledge. I spent a lot of time sitting talking with him, and I know he has thorough knowledge of how water and the whole system work. And a lot of people can catch rainwater and just clean rainwater, and it's better than the drinking water that you pull out of your tap now. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. And when we look at this as ONPASSIVE, and we've got all of these different people, Kurt, I know Kevin Rutledge is in the water, Willow's in the water, and you take all of that, what you guys got up there that you've learned all these years. Can you imagine putting that all together and working with someone that's building a community? And,
Yes.
and you don't have to do it. You just support it, or whatever. We can change the world. We can do so much more than we think we could have before. When your mind starts rolling and saying, hey, what about this? Now, you talked about the Kmart building. What
Yes.
about having that Kmart building, and you have these people that are living in, and it's almost like an incubator to get them to go to their own home.
Exactly.
So you start them out in this incubator, and maybe some of them don't know how to use computer. Maybe they don't know how to use a phone. Maybe they never learned. What about having a classroom, and you set them in there and you put Academy up? They can learn about anything they want to. Can you imagine how good that makes a person feel when you can do that, when you've been beaten up all your life and said you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do this, and all of a sudden you say, watch me.
Yep. And you know what, Milo, right now, any of us on this call can get in our car and drive 15 to 20 blocks or a mile and see an empty building, empty infrastructure that's already in place, and they're just sitting there. And like I said, a lot of people don't know, a government building, like a federal government building, we all own that building. We pay taxes. If that building's set empty for certain periods of time, you can go and offer $1 and get that building Some people homestead those kind of buildings. Some people homestead even federal government property. That's how a lot of people own their property, through homesteading. They got federal buildings the same way, just sitting dormant. You can go in and say, hey, I have a plan for that building. I'm a taxpayer, and here's my dollar or whatever. Here's my plan, and I want that building. They can't say no because it's your building.
Wow.
We got empty schools like that. I know for 2 or 3 empty schools right now, just sitting. I mean, just schools. You can make those to anything you want. You can make them out of little factories. You can make them out of shelters or whatever. You know, some schools abandoned for various reasons because they have asbestos shingles in the ceiling. Okay, I know how to mitigate asbestos. Just, you know, you can mitigate all those things, and, you know, put on, if you need to do it, put on a level 1 suit, call in a company, whatever, and go mitigate it and move it. And you got a whole school.
That's amazing. I didn't realize all that, Leon, but imagine all of a sudden you get my mind going, right? And I'm thinking, okay, so what if I'm in Nashville and I go and I happen to find a building and I look and I say, you know, I really don't want to be into all of that work, you know, doing that, but I could be the pivot guy that says, hey, let's go do this. And all of a sudden I call in Leon and you know, Curtis is doing the water, and Kevin Rutledge, and the different people that will come out. I believe that we will bring out specialists, and when we set up things like that, we can sit there and we can bring people in, and man, we can change the world. You know, we can all change the world together.
Yep. And Milo, sometimes it's just a matter of knowledge. In 1993, I bought an old 1890 Victorian house. The house cost $225,000. And the reason why it cost that little in California is because they said it has asbestos shingles on it. And I just laughed. And they said they had gotten a quote for $500,000 to remove the shingles. So I went to the landfill and asked them, if I brought asbestos shingles here, can I dump them there? They say, yeah, just put them in your regular trash can. They just can't be friable. So I go to the city and I ask the city, I say, okay, I want to remove these asbestos shingles from my house. Is there any permits I need to get or whatever? They said, no, but we can tell you, just, you know, water it down real good. Don't make sure they're fractured. So I bought this fine particulate mask and I worked on a little bit each day, and I removed all those shingles off the house. And I just sold the house for $1,050,000 last year.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
See, there's a thing, it's the knowledge level that sometimes people just don't go to that. And I got rid of all the shingles for $64.
You know, Leon, I love that, because there's sometimes that people say, oh no, it's got this, or you can't do this or something. And like you said, you find out what it is and you go, wow, this is what's holding people back, you know? Yeah. My dad used to always have a saying, he would say, can't, never, could, do nothing. So yeah. I grew up with that thought. So, I mean, if you tell me no, normally I'm going to show you how, you know, and that's just my nature, you know? And this is so cool hearing this stuff. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we got another hand up. Let's bring Miss Jeannie Alavey down. Alavua.
Aliva. I am just sitting here grinning from ear to ear because, well, one, between the two of you guys, my brain is just like imploding. But Leon, you are exactly the type, you perfectly represent what Ash Mufareh is trying to do in the world. He is trying to enable the dreamers, the creative minds, the ingenious thinking that's going to resolve and clean up and fix everything across the world. And I mean, you talked about so many things that I really can't even bring out any one, but I know that Ash Mufara is going to listen to this. He finds a way to listen to pretty much everything. He is going to be smiling as wide as I am, because this is exactly what he's trying to do. And you have such a breadth of knowledge and experience and fearlessness that you're kind of a cut above right now. But the goal obviously is to get everybody to feel like they can enable themselves to be just like that, going out into the world, using their personal expertise. Like Milo said, we all have our own thing, and going out and just creating change in the world. And Milo, when you were talking about the Kmarts and having rooms for learning with Academy and all of that, that is so similar to what David Rosalsky has been imagining as a prosperity center, where you'd have these areas. But you think about Academy, you bring people in there and they could literally become anything. It just with one product of ONPASSIVE. It's just mind-blowing. And I can't stop smiling. This has been a fantastic presentation and discussion. And I mean, yeah, I'm starting to act like an idiot right now because I'm so excited, because I think we all get what we've got here. The possibilities are endless. And Leon, thank you so much. And Milo, thank you so much for bringing Leon on, because this is like a never-ending discussion, and it's only going to go up from here. So thank you both.
Well, thank you for listening, and I appreciate it, the feedback. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think these kind of discussions, what they do is they do make us all think.
Yes.
And we all have things that we would like to do. And like I said, we don't have time to do everything. But imagine if we take it, this project that Leon loves, and we all support it, some way, and we come and help him out. It just expands that out, that it makes it done so much quicker. But not only does it make it done so much quicker, it also builds yours thing that you can help anyone that's homeless. I see this where, hey, we start out maybe with Leon's, but all of us go find buildings and say, hey, Leon, we found a building, and we got people, and I've often thought, like, the homeless or the people that are, need a second chance. Nashville, there's a ton of them, okay? And there's people that walk around with a guitar around their neck, and they'll sing for you for $1, and that, your heart just, I don't know, to me, it's like, man, and I just want to help those people, but I've never been able to. Now, how am I going to help them? I don't know. I think I've been throwing this around in my mind. You see people on the corners, and what if I take a business card and I hand them a business card and say, buddy, this is a lot more than $1 or $2 that I'll give you. You go to this site, you sign up, and I'll pay your way in. And then I get them into a place like Leon's, that where we can educate them, if they want to be educated. Now, some might not, and that's okay, And what I would like to say to people is, even though, you give it out, the difference between before and now is you don't have to worry if they're going to do anything for it. Because guess what? It's going to do it for them, but it will become a vehicle for them. Now, imagine if you give it to a guy and he happens to know some big marketer, okay? You gave it to him. He only gave it to one guy, but that one guy knew 100,000 guys. And all of a sudden, you wake up the next morning or whatever, and you got 100,000 more commissions in your wallet. Now, those commissions are not only going to be there that day. Do you realize that they will be there the following month at the same time, the exact same moment, because that's the way that the thing works. It puts that commission in. And when I was in building, I say this all the time, it was the craziest thing, because when I started, I'm like, how in the world could I make that much money? And then I started looking at it, and all I had to do was I had to present it to my buddy, the builder or whatever. Now, once the builder started building that home, it wasn't just the builder that went in. It was every subcontractor in the world went in there, the electricians, the plumbers. If they needed a part, they went in, and guess who got the commission for it? I did. That's kind of the way this is, a beautiful thing. So, all right, let's move on. We got Mr. Alan G from all the way in South Africa. Come on down, brother, and talk to us.
Hi, Milo. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, Pat Parent and David Rozalski were on, and they also did a project where they did a PowerPoint presentation of what they were planning to do, with a like a housing scheme that they wanted to do, affordable housing. And it's quite impressive. Maybe you should get Pat to come on and do a presentation on this.
I love it. I have heard that name come up 2 or 3 times. I've never heard him speak, but I would love to have him on the show. In fact, if anyone knows him and can get a hold of him and have him contact me, I would love to bring him on, maybe even next week, because I want to go to more things like this where a project comes in, we discuss it, and my mind always whirls, and I love talking like that. So I start saying, hey, what about this? What about that? Sometimes people can say things that you never even thought of that will help them out. I would love to have, is this Dave Rolowski?
Yes, and Pat Parent. Patricia
And
Parent.
who?
Patricia Parent.
Oh, Patricia Parent. I know her.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So she's in that project with him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She actually did the PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay. Well, I will get her on maybe next week. I'll talk to her and see if she can come on. I would love to talk to Pat. Pat's got a beautiful heart, and she's gonna change a lot of things.
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. Anything else for Leon or?
Nothing at the moment, thanks.
All right, thank you, Alan G, for coming down. All right, and next up we got none other than Dr. Oh, let me see. I better look at this. No, I kind of look at the pictures, but I forget to look at the other side. Momodu. I know he's working and his video is off, but I know he's gonna talk to us. Come on down, Modu. Oh, Modu.
Yes, Mr. Milo. My picture depicts as a doctor, but I'm not a doctor, Thank you very much, Mr. Milo. Sorry, I'm driving. I'm just off from my job. I'm going home now. Yeah, I listened, brother, on what he just said, And the last time, I don't know if it was Miss Listra or I think it was Listra. When I listened her presentation, I have a dream. I came from a large family. The last time I checked, I think we were about 230. And out of this family, I always have a dream to create a family village. Mr. Ash is talking about eradicating poverty. So I always think we need to start to ourselves. If I can eradicate poverty within my family, then I know I've made a contribution towards the cause. So if I establish a family village whereby all amenities will be included into this village. So I was just thinking, Mr. Leon's project, if it will fit into my dream to create a family village whereby it will comprise of houses, schools, health facility, and all amenities you can think of. So I don't know if he can say anything towards
Yes,
that,
yeah,
because that's my dream.
I'm here, and that is so doable, because if you really think about it, majority of the schools here in the United States are just mobile units stuck together, and they have a brick area for an office. You can make a school out of shipping containers. If you really think about it, you can have a school, you can loan that school, have heat, air conditioned if it's too hot, and insulated the walls and the infrastructure. You can do a village, you can build a village out of the materials that you have. If you can't afford the materials or whatever, you can find various materials to build it out of. And everybody always goes to shipping containers because there's already a structure, and you just go ahead and make that structure sound like spray installation foam, or put the wiring and instruction in, with the grinder, cut the windows, put the windows in, and now you have put vents and stuff, and you already have yourself a structure that people are living in and paying top dollars for. You can build your village. Like, for instance, I can get together with you and we can say, hey, you can start here. What do you want first in the village? People who has a village, you got to eat first. If you're going to work, you got to eat. So you got to have a place you're going to eat, and you got a place you're going to meet, and then you need a temporary structure for sleeping. And then you can start, okay, number one, number two, what is this important in the village? Okay, school, we got these kids. So let's get the school up and running, and then go from there. And then while you're doing it, you're planning your water, your sewer, and all the other infrastructure things that you need. And the main thing is, electricity, water, and sewer. If you want solar, you can do solar panels. You don't have to rely on the system. You want to do solar. Right now, solar's cheap, and compare it. You got solar, you have wirings, and I mean, right now you can go to a surplus store and buy all kinds of wiring and conduit, PVC conduit, run the conduit, the wiring, and you can, from Australia to around the world, you can find somebody that can have the cheapest, the solar panel. You can start off that way, and those solar panels work just as efficient, just as good as any of these other companies, because you're buying the brand or buying the name. So you can start your own village, have your own solar system, your electricity, and have your, the whole infrastructure in place, and you can just plan it. And if you have to deal with various governmental agencies and get permits, they require permits. Some areas, even here in the United States, they'll let you build without
Mr. Ceylon, where I'm talking about is in my country, Sierra
Which is
Leone.
good.
So
yeah, which is good. That's good in your country too.
That's what I'm talking about. Establishing a family village whereby my family, just comprised of my family, which will have all amenities.
And you got all that people to help you too from the family. At least you got labor, you got hands to help do all everything. So
you have the agriculture side.
All you need is a supervisor.
Side, you have the health side, every sector.
Yeah, you just need a supervisor to help you get directed. You already got the know-how and the knowledge. You just need somebody to guide you, put you in the right direction. And that's the type of thing I would love to help people do.
Oh my goodness, that's my dream, because I know if I was able to solve their problem in terms of living condition, health-wise, educational-wise, everything, I know, then I move to my community and my country as a whole. That's my dream,
Imagine, Modu, if you could put your own farm there. If you're doing something like that, you can have cows, chickens, and
I say agriculture, health, everything you think of.
Right. And now also imagine, Ash has said no one should pay for electricity. What if he comes out with something that you don't have to pay for electricity? All these things are eliminating things, making life better for all of us, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. But like Leon said, all we need is, once we go down that path and we start thinking about it, let's get with someone like maybe Leon, and he could say, well, do this or do that or do that. And also Leon would be a great guy, that Leon, I don't want to put you out there too much, but
That's all right.
I am anyway. But say that a guy is wanting to go in and find out, there is a way to talk to government and to
Yes.
all these different things that if you know how to do it, it's easy to do. You go in and say, well, I need this. Or what about, do I need a permit for this? Do I need a permit? And all
You see, like for us back home, what you just need is the land. As long and our own way of getting a land. When you purchase a land, you own it for life. So when you purchase the land, whether how many acres or something, whatever you do with that land is yours.
Yep.
Yes. Well, see, that we got some cities, we got some areas, rural areas like that here. Once you get the land, you can build. Only thing they want you to do is make sure you got good drainage for your septic system. That's it. And they'll let you build anything you want. But some areas,
because the land is yours.
yes. And then and Milo's correct. Some governmental agencies, you guys remember, the government is supposed to be here to help us. They are elected officials. But sometimes they get too busy in politics, they forget how to help the people.
Exactly.
And what you have to do is to go in and approach them and say, this is my idea. Long as you're doing it, they don't care. But then when you start asking them for a little assistance, then they start a little pushback. But as long as you got that idea and that project and you can get it funded over here, they don't care. But most time they won't stop you. And that's why if you run things by them, they'll just let you go ahead and do it and you can build it. When sometimes you just go and do things, they step in because they feel like they want to show that they have authority.
Oh yes, authority.
Shut you down.
But sometimes if you have a guy that knows the rules, they realize they can't buck it, because all of a sudden the guy says, oh, well, according to this, so I just need this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh God, this guy knows what he's doing.
That's why we are so blessed for this family Mr. As has created for us. We have everybody, every know-how, every technical know-how we have.
Right.
It's just a way of approach.
Yeah, we'll be able to get anything
we are so blessed.
We have O Academy, and it's going to be you'll no longer go to how to for you too. You'll go to how to with O Academy because they'll tell you everything, and even think about accountants or attorneys. You're going to have all those at your access too, because they're going to know, the accountants are going to know, okay, well, we can do this with ONPASSIVE, we can do this, and we can do that. It's not that you're trying to not pay your fair share, but you find out what you have to pay, and you don't be paying a whole lot more, because like Leon said, the government forgets that they are working for us sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like a week. Where else do you have an employee? Because basically there are employees, right? Where else? Is there in America where the employee gets together and says, oh, you know what? We need another 10,000 or we need another 10% raise, and they get it because we don't have nothing to say about it, so things are going to change. Right, Leon?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Mention
Thank you, Mr. Milo.
I want to mention one other quick thing. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a lot of food banks, and you see people standing in line, but a lot of those people are homeless, and they give you stuff at the food bank like butter and cheese. What in the heck is a homeless person gonna put their butter and cheese?
Yeah.
I mean, they're giving them apples, fruits, cabbage, salad. Where are they gonna put it? They have a whole big thing of it. Most of it go to waste because they don't have a place to put it. They going right back to the creek bed or river bottom or whatever they sleep, and they don't have ice. They don't have nothing. So that's just a waste to me. You have a place like the Kmart building that's empty, and you have a big kitchen there, so you can come for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you got big old walk-in freezers. That food is fresh for months and many times. You could feed so many people over and over and over. But you see all that stuff laying on side the road or whatever, because now it's garbage and trash because you just you think you're helping, but sometimes you're not helping correctly, you know, and that's the crazy part is that you see a lot of that's that kind of waste as well. But if you had to have it organized and have several soup kitchens throughout the cities, they will come. They will come and eat and have a place for them to get showers. If you have those two things, you helping them a great deal. Instead of I see the line out the door, and then they just handing people big bags of food, and they pulling it on their bicycles, their wagons, their strollers, or whatever. And then you see all the crap on the side of the road because a big old block of cheese or butter, how long do you think that's gonna last in this heat today?
Yeah. Good points, Leon. Good points. You know, and we need to streamline some of that stuff. You know, we need to take it on ourselves and do it, you know. So great points. Okay, let's move on. We're down to about 15 more minutes. We got 1, 2, what do we got? 3 hands up. So we'll get to those, and maybe we might be able to do 2 more. So if you want to say something to Leon, please come on about his project. I am looking for someone. You want to send me your project. If you got a project and you want to talk about it on here, we're going to do this same thing with some other projects that people have. So please send it to me, what your project is, how it is. We'll evaluate it and bring someone on next week. All right, next up, we got none other than Dr. Benny. Come on down, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Milo, for giving me this opportunity. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning to each and everyone all over the globe. Brother Leon.
Yes.
I would say outstanding presentation.
Thank you.
Based upon everything, your expertise. You said a lot of things about water contamination.
Yes.
If I may ask, even though there are a lot, but when it comes to this water, who regulates the water we drink in this country? Since you and I, we are here in America.
The government, there's always a governmental agency over your drinking water. It's either a municipality, which is a city, it's either a special district, or the county, or the state, or the federal government. They're all in charge of your water. And it's never individual, you know, if it was a private company. Sometimes private companies run the agencies, but the person who's really in charge of it, because water has to move. Like, for example, California, Southern California, people don't know this. There's 29 purveyors in the whole state of California that are allowed to get water from the Colorado River. The Colorado River feeds Arizona. It also feeds Utah, parts of Texas and El Paso, and also Mexico. They signed a treaty a long time ago. That water comes from the snow melt on the mountains in Colorado Rockies. That's why you want a big snow pack on the Colorado Rockies. And when there's a snowstorm in Colorado, you just smile, you love it, because when that water melts all year long, it runs down through the Colorado River and on down through Southern California to Mexico. But however, they put a pipeline from the Colorado River, and they turn that water, goes through the mountains all the way into Los Angeles. Los Angeles, how the Coachella Valley has rights to that water. Los Angeles have the right to that water. And then you have the state water project that run water from the California Delta all the way down from California. There's a canal. When you drive on the 5 freeway, there's a canal bringing all from Northern California to Southern California, bringing all that water. And would you believe it, the city of San Diego doesn't really have water rights. They have to buy water from Los Angeles. They have to buy, Los Angeles built a humongous reservoir for all the water to go to San Diego. And also San Diego pays $70 million to the All-American Water Project to bring water into San Diego they lined the All-American Canal. It was a dirt canal. They lined it with cement so they can save the water from seeping into the ground. All the water is saved. So many acre feet of water goes to San Diego. A city can only be as big as the water they can get to make the city. San Diego would be huge, but they don't have water to be huge. San Diego, because it's south, it's warm, it's nice and beautiful. San Diego can't grow anymore because they don't have no water. So all that water comes from the United States government, some kind of way. And it's terrible. And I always said that if I had to make a proposal to the United States government, I would tell the government, have every state from where it's flooding all the way across build a canal all the way across the United States, and have every state sell their water downstream to whoever needs it until it gets all the way out to the California, the desert, all those areas, and they would make a fortune. Just make every state responsible for its own water canal, and then the canal meets the next state, and the canal meets the next state, and they pay for the infrastructure and having it, and then they get to sell their water all the way across. Because you know, we got flooding right now. I think in Houston, Texas, we have flooding. We got flooding everywhere. All that water has gone to waste because you can clean that water and use it. But we waste because we don't have the infrastructure to hold it. If it become a torrential downpour in California, most of it runs out to the ocean because we don't have the infrastructure to capture the water and put it back into the aquifer so we can pump it up in a well and drink it. So it's sad.
Wow, thank you so much. Please, I noticed that you have done your research based upon like regarding abandoned buildings.
Yes.
Standing somewhere that you stated that since all of us, we pay taxes in United States.
Yes.
We own it, right?
You own it. Those, if it's owned by the federal government, you own it. If it's owned by the state, you pay state taxes, you own it. That's you. If the state bought that money, they bought it with your taxpayer dollars. That's your, that also, you have access to that building. You give them a good reason. They can't say, well, no, we're going to just let it sit there and rot. We're just going to let it sit there and fall down.
Wow. Thank you. I know.
Yeah, you don't have to go and pay them hundreds of thousands. You just give them just a dollar change hand, maybe $5, $10, $20. They write the paper and just turn it over to a good cause. You helping the state.
Wow. Thank you. I mean, I have a lot to say, but I will stop at this moment. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Dr. Benny. And thanks for those great, I didn't realize some of those things, but man, you got my mind whirling now, Leon.
Yes.
You do, man, about pumping water from here to there. And, you know, Tennessee, we've had a couple floods already this year, you know, so
exactly.
You know, why not?
The
If we
TDA
had,
project.
yeah, if we had it, you know, we could just move it on out, you know, move it to
because
whoever.
that's what they do, Milo, in California. You know, in California, they pay people as far as Idaho to fodder their crops so we can get the water and bring it to Southern California. They pay farmers to fodder their crops, to just let the crop die so they don't use that water, and so they can use it in Southern California. Northern California has lots of water. Southern California is like the desert. It has no water. Parts of Texas, El Paso, Arizona, Nevada. Look at Lake Mead. It's way down. It's record low. I mean, we need that water. Lake Powell, all those areas, because we don't have because of global warming, we don't have the storms bringing the snowstorm, the snowpacks on the mountain, and the Sierras. We need all that snow in those mountains every year. We need these seasons so we can have that snowpack, so we can have all these tributary and creeks and streams filled up with water all year long because of the melt of the snow.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but with a big team like ONPASSIVE, we can get a lot of these things done, I'm sure. So yes. Thank you so much. All right, next up, we got none other than Mr. Bruce Gerstein from Florida. This man is a knowledgeable guy. He's on all the shows. And my grandson is your biggest fan. He always says, that Bruce Gerstein, he says, I just love that guy. Come on down, Bruce, and talk to me.
Give your grandson a big hug for me.
I will.
Tell me he's a beautiful human being, a beautiful boy.
Yeah, he is.
I just want to say physically, I'm not doing so well today. My legs are not working. My voice is very weak, but I'll try to do the best I can. I want to say, and I would like prayers from everybody, of course. Leon, I want to tell you that you are one of the Mother Teresa's in ONPASSIVE. You have a brilliant mind, brilliant thoughts. Everything you say is so spot on. But while we were talking, all I was thinking was what I said many years ago: water will be the most expensive commodity in the world. And there are so many disgusting water barons in the world. You talked about them, the people who have the rights to the water. What we in ONPASSIVE want to do is give the rights back to the people. And when we have a way to develop through OBLESS, ways to capture water just through air and to cleanse water, that's water that comes from the rivers that are filled with a lot of viral bacteria, makes people sick. We'll have a way to clean them too, and always have viable potable water for everybody. And I really see that as much as I said, we're going to end world poverty. We're going to end filthy water, and we're going to bring beautiful water to the world. I had a question. I started thinking, I said, you know, all of these things, when we go to communities and we get to bigger areas like a city, the one thing the city wants to do is have money. And the one way the city always gets money is through permits. And there's going to have to be a way to work out ways to talk with these people so their hearts are warmed up and know that we can do something that won't cost them money, but we can do it ourselves if they let us. There's another thing that I was thinking about is that how many people it takes for each one of these projects. There's going to be a lot of brainstorming necessary. There's going to be a lot of things necessary. I even see old staff in here because, and I look at OBLESS and I see OBLESS as compartments. I see it as water for people, housing for people, food for people, health for people, all kinds of things for people. That all has to be looked at, and we have to look at all these projects and how we can coordinate them. And that will take a lot of effort. Staff will work very well for us with all that. But I wanted to know how you thought when you talk about the project about, and I think the Kmart thing is brilliant because I started thinking 24-hour food places where people, if they're hungry, they can go inside and get fresh food 24 hours a day. That's amazing that we can one day do that too. There's so many things, and like Jeannie said, I'm blown away by everything you talked about here because you've given us solutions for sometimes that people can't see how they can get by with things. And you have a lot of brilliant solutions, and I thank you for that. So do you agree that there's going to be a lot of brainstorming involved with all of this and about all these projects will take place?
Did you say, who did you say?
I was asking if you see that this will take a lot of brainstorming and preparation. Just like you go out in a game, you have to prepare for the game before you go out. You have to know what you're going to do beforehand. And that's teamwork.
Absolutely. I feel this is, you know, that will happen for sure. You know, that, and that's what we're doing basically right now is we're brainstorming, you know, and we're masterminding. You know, Leon has come to us with a project that's his, which is incredible, you know, and we're talking about it, and you know, I think it's gonna be a wonderful thing because there's a lot of knowledgeable people in ONPASSIVE, you know.
Yes. Just think about all the engineers we have. We have the tech pros. Like I said, an engineer, a lot of people don't understand this. When you take up engineering, I don't care what kind of engineering it is, you're an engineer, period. Because if you can build or read a schematic, you can learn to read the blueprints of schematic, and you just do what the blueprints of schematic tell you. You know, people just like being a doctor, you want to be a brain surgeon, a heart surgeon, or a pediatrician or pediatric or oncologist. That's what you specialize in. Doesn't mean you don't know how to diagnose a person. Engineer, you're an engineer, you can build, you can convert your engineering to anything you want. Most engineers are scientists. You're a scientist. You study all the math and science, the biology, the chemistry, the physics. That's what you do. And so you're gonna learn how to apply it. And that's why I learned in the field, because all the different fields I've been in fields like I say with the oil industry. You know, I learned how to apply my knowledge to a lot of different things. I can do electrical, I can do plumbing, I can do, you know, but at least plumbing comes with the mechanical side of it. But still I can do electrical and I can do a little structure. I'm not saying I'm a perfect structure engineer, but I can do a little structure because I know a little knowledge of it. But I'm not the person that, but you know, and I can also build, I can do a little architecture or whatever. But I'm just saying, these are things when you went to school and got some discipline in the area, you learn a little bit about everything, and you learn that it's in your brain. You can make whatever you put your mind to it and try to figure it out, you can do it. And I'm not saying you're going to be a professional at it or be that good at it unless you do it several times, but you are going to be able to power through it.
What I can see is we are blessed with brilliance everywhere in ONPASSIVE. We have brilliant minds, brilliant hearts. So thank you, Leon. Thank you, Milo. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bruce, and thanks, Leon. All right, we're down to about 10 minutes or so. So we're going to go to Mr. Alan G. Alan, come on down.
Okay, just another thought talking about the electricity and this stuff, the solar panels. One of the companies that Chris Johnson had on his show a couple of months ago was, I think, called W&E, where they're talking about water and electricity, and they've got generators that run off magnets, so they're actually self-fueling, so they don't need actually any fuel. They've also got a water purifying system where they have straws that actually purifies water. Any water, you drink through the straw and it purifies the water into drinking water. It can be any dirty water. It's quite amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm sure that ONPASSIVE will be coming out with some of the same type stuff. I'm sure that Ash has been looking into it, and he probably has something similar, or maybe they'll come on or whatever. But
yeah, I'm just saying these things are in the. I think they are working with. I think Ash is using one of those generators for his data center.
Yeah. I'm just, like I said, we'll have so much available to us. We're going to be moving forward. That's for sure. Let's move on to Mr. John.
Just one other thing. There's like a wind generator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a portable one. You can actually put onto they have small ones actually that work very well as well.
Yes.
Yeah. There'll be all kinds of things, I'm sure, that going to change everything that we do.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Let's move forward to Mr. John Barilla. Come on down, brother. You're muted, John. It's a rookie mistake, but you are muted.
Okay, hold on.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you well. We hear that wonderful voice.
Oh, good. I'm so sorry. That's my earbuds. I told you my earbuds go nuts sometimes. I got in touch with Dave Rosowski, and he's actually in the house. If you want to say hello to Dave, the gentleman we were talking about earlier, I think Dave will come on and say hello to you at any rate.
That's
all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dave Rosowski.
Rosowski.
Rosowski, how is it?
Rosowski. It's okay.
Hey, Come on
No.
down, Dave, and talk to us for a couple minutes. They're telling me about a great project you've got. I haven't seen it yet, or I haven't seen any of the recording, but I'd love to talk to you sometimes on it.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on this project for about 30 years, you know, just because, well, I'm tired of this society being the way it is, dog eat dog, everybody eating each other, trying to get a buck. You know, that's no way to live. That's not how God ordained it.
Right.
You know, so I was figuring, you know, I'm not all going all hippie or anything or building a kibbutz, but I figured, well, I need a place where people like me can just be free, you know, live our lives. I grew up, you know, I was born in the 60s and all that. So I've been around a few years, and I was born in free America. I want to die a free American. I don't like what's going on in the world. And now ONPASSIVE has given me a chance to do this. You know, now I've been all nuts and bolts about it. I got blessed, you know, and I happened to come across and meet Pat Parent, wonderful human being, you know, added the, you know, the two things I needed, God and heart. You know, I was just all about survival and making it happen. You know, I've been working on it and bringing up my ideas even further. Like I just designed a whole fire suppression system for the entire town, you know, so it would eliminate the need of an on-site fire department, you know, as far as we'd have, when I build the town, I figure I'm going to see what's there, make sure we have enough water to put out the entire town should a meteor hit and light the whole place up. We'll be able to have enough water to put it out on site. So we don't have to wait for response units. People can just get to work and get started and have things going. But, you know, we're looking at, you know, building homes out of pretty much everything. You know, there's so many things that we can use. So many,
Excuse me, Dave, can we save some of this? I would like to have you on and bring that whole project on. Let me get back with you, because I want to talk to you in detail of this and how we can make things kind of what we did with Leon today. But it's nice to meet you, man, and it sounds good what you're doing, you know, and we're running kind of out of time today. So if we can just wait, if you could send me a messenger on Facebook. Do you do Facebook Messenger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, we're friends on Messenger, so I'll send you a message and we'll set it up.
Nashville Milo. Yeah, and we'll have you guys on and you know, and talk about your project and let's discuss it. But we are running out of time, and I want to thank everyone that came today. We did not do the live, so this might be good. You subscribe to my YouTube, which I only have 81 people, and there's 90 here, so there's at least 9 of you that are not subscribed to ONPASSIVE Milo. Man, this could be good. So this is a great show. I'm telling you, this was like knock the lights out, man. This was good stuff. So I will be putting it out on ONPASSIVE Milo. You'll be able to get it there. So come to my YouTube channel, sign in. Me and my brother is battling back and forth, and he is way ahead of me. So I need more subscribers. All right, and thank you all for so much. I noticed, I want to say to Jeannie, man, thank you for doing the chat, man. You've been in the chat the whole time. I've been watching, you know, so anyway, so good to have you here. Come on down and say a couple minutes. You got the floor.
Oh, sorry, I was just in the chat right then.
Hello.
Oh, my pleasure, Milo. I mean, this topic is just amazing. We could talk for a week on everything, and I'm so glad you're bringing David Rozalski on, because that's another. I had as you saw, a long list of people that I think would be fabulous to bring on, and Leon, you just blew my mind today. I am just your you cut through, like, your clarity of thinking. Like, a lot of people were sort of bogged down in the way things have been, and will they ever change, government and infrastructure? But you
Yeah.
We lost you there, Jeannie, but I think you were saying it. Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Jeannie, I'm not sure if you cut out or if it's my end. Are you guys hearing her?
No.
So
Okay.
much.
Okay, I just heard you say so much, but don't know what else. But I think you were saying that his clarity cutting through, he's one of these guys that don't tell him you can't, because he's going to show you how, and that's what we need. That's what we need to change the world. It's not that we think we're anybody, but we dream bigger, and we just go. If we have something to go after, we go after it, and that's a good thing. Mr. John Barilla, come on down and talk to us.
And Milo,
Okay.
I put your YouTube channel link in the chat. So everybody go and subscribe to Milo's channel, please.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I won't take up much time. I just want to say it was a wonderful discussion today. Leon, it was great information. There were things popping in my head when he was talking about buildings that can be acquired for very little money from a city. And New York actually has a program where they have, older big buildings or whatever, where you could actually get them very cheaply, or even there's organizations that get these buildings for $1 a month or something like that. So I won't have anything else to say, but this was a very good discussion today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John Barilla, and thank you for all you do for us, for keeping that chat clean and stuff, and watching it. And it's great to have you on. And let's see, Marcy N, you helped us out in the beginning. You got something to say? Closing remarks?
I just want to thank Leon for this great presentation. Of course, I'm a fan of giving water to everybody around the world. So this was a topic that hit from home, and I was absorbing it and trying to find in my own little head how his project is going to help the missionary of Africa that we are going to bring out. And I'm sure that is going to be a great thing for us. It's a lot of things that we have learned here tonight, and Leon is going to be a much needed for us when the time comes. Thank you so much for everything, and thank you, John, for always checking around and make sure that everything is okay in the chat and all the YouTube channel. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you, Marcy N. Thank you, Marcy N. And Leon is going to be known around the world, I'm sure. Founders, all of us founders, they're going to know us by our name. They're going to come to us. They'll see Leon coming into a city hall, and they'll say, yeah, just sign whatever. I got to sign this paperwork. They'll know what he's doing. And I love that. We are out of time, Naga. We're just, we're finishing up here. So Lynn, come on down and say your last closing remarks.
What a great webinar. I like how Leon explains it in a very down-to-earth way, so that we don't feel overwhelmed and feel like we could never do something like this. So I think your message is that everybody can tackle something like this. It is workable. So thank you for that, Leon.
Thank
and I'm
you.
glad to be part of this webinar, and I hope that you'll come back week after week to enjoy good content provided by Milo. Thank you, Milo.
Awesome. Thank you. And hopefully we'll get the link out earlier next year or next week, that we can have more people here. But what a webinar. Leon, I want to thank you for coming. You did provide so much value, and that is what it's about. It's value in that content, man. You hit the nail on the head, and you told us what needed to be done. Come on down, Leon, and give us your last closing remarks.
Okay. My last closing remark is going to be about water. I have this device right here, can make water from the air. Imagine that was a Navy SEAL that created this big old thing, this big unit. You could set it in the middle of Africa, it can make all the clean water you want from the electricity, from the air, right? But you need electricity. It works off the same principle as a air condition. You see the air condition on is dripping. That water is dripping is created from the air going over the heat of the condenser. That water is dripping. That's clean, clear, pure water. You can make that water. They can make it out of this this thing right here. If you're camping, you don't have no water, you can take this with you, and it makes you water while you're just sitting there. You drink it, clean water. And so I know a guy named Terry. If you go on the Google or YouTube, his name is Terry. He has this thing called the Big Dipper, and you can carry it on your backpack. You can make water while you're camping or hiking, but it got to be generated. Some of them are generated by solar, and then some of it's generated by like electricity or battery. But imagine the one that generated by solar. You got all the sun and you got all the air, and you make water from the air.
Wow, that's incredible. And
Yeah.
and you know, Leon, that someone's going to come up that will make a huge amount of water,
Exactly.
and they'll put it right down there in San Diego, and San Diego will boom. That's right. It's gonna, and there's just, man, when we think about what we can do as people, as ONPASSIVE, we don't have to look to the government to give us this or do that. You know what? We'll be able to do it ourselves. That is an incredible thought right there.
Yeah.
You know, just thinking, you know, we don't have to wait for anyone. We don't have to get mad if someone don't want to do something. Hey, it's no big deal. We'll do it our way. You know, we find a way, you know, to change the world one person at a time. And it started with Mr. Ash Mafaro, but man, now we got engineers on board. We got everyone on board that will be able to come up with solutions. What a deal. What a way. Hey, listen, it's time to go. I want to thank every one of you for coming, because remember, if you was not here, Milo wouldn't talk to himself. I guarantee you that. ONPASSIVE. Sometimes, because if I start talking to myself, I might answer myself. But anyway, I love every one of you. Thanks so much for coming on today. And we will see you next week. Not sure who we'll have, but you will see it when I get it lined out. It could be Dave, you know, it could be someone else. I don't know who will be the person who comes on. But if you have a project, if you have a passion that you want to talk about, bring it here. And I would like to say, all of you know Leon now. You know what he stands for, and you can support his project. You can support his project because the man is out there. You see his heart, you feel his heart. And what better way? We don't have to reinvent the wheel. That guy already knows how the wheel is. So all we got to do is just do that. Now you could want to get in and help him. Maybe you know something, work together. You know, that's what this is all about. ONPASSIVE is going to change the world. One person at a time. We're going to change the corruption. You know, we're going to be the correction to the corruption. And I think we're going to see, you know, medical, health, you know, electrical, all kinds of things come about that we're not even thinking about right now. I know Mr. Ash has a plan, and he's probably only given us just a little bit of it, but what an incredible opportunity he has provided for us. Love the guy, love his family for taking care of us, man. He works tirelessly. And all we got to do is believe in the process, find your lane, get in it. You know, if you're passionate about something, remember, if you're passionate about something and you want to come online, just like this, you take 20 minutes and talk, and then we discuss it. Please send me a Facebook message, and it's at Nashville Milo, and tell me your story and what you want to talk about, and we will get you on. And, you know, like I said, it's strength in numbers, strength in numbers. We might not be able to do it all by ourselves, but when you combine everyone that's here, and now remember, just the founders are 1.44 million, okay? But when it launches to the world, November 20th or sooner, when it launches to the world, we will have between 10,000 and 1 million people coming on board every day. Do you know how fast those numbers are going to go up? When they go up, that means that another person has joined to change the world. Maybe I mean, most of them will, I'm sure. There might be some that don't, but I feel that all of us, we get that heart. You know, when it first started out, it wasn't about, you know, it was more what it could do for me. At least with me, it was like, how is this going to help me? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, this is a lot bigger. It gives us a vehicle to do whatever we want to. Thanks again for coming. And that's the end of the show. Good night from Nashville. You can open your mic.
Good night from New York City.
Good night.
Good night
Hi,
from
good night, Mr.
Pennsylvania.
John. Good night, Madam Benny.
Good night.
Cape Town, South Africa.
Good night from Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Good night from
Good night from
Maryland.
Houston,
Good night, Brother
Texas.
Naga.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Mr. Milo.
Very much.
All right. See you later.
Godmother, thank
Time
you.
to
Here
go.
we go. Bye-bye.